Andy Austin here with more marketing tips for coaches. And just in case you don't know, there is a growing playlist of these videos. The playlist is in the pinned comment section below the video. And for those unaware, there's a little join button below all of my videos, which gives you access to the exclusive members only content. It's only $1.99 a month, and there's lots of stuff going up there. New content is added every week. Currently looking at Ericksonian hypnotherapy, doing a little bit of stuff around archetypes and how that fits in, and other stuff on understanding psychotic communication. So those are the current 3 themes that are going up this year that will evolve and develop as time goes on. As I say, it's only $1.99 a month. Click that join button. Do check it out. You can cancel at any time. I don't think you'll want to though, because it's awesome. Right, next top tip in better marketing for coaches. Connect with your local community services. A common mistake that new therapists make, especially they've just finished their course, they've got a shiny new certificate, they've got their hypnotherapy certificate, their NLP practitioner, whatever it is they've got, and they're ready because they know, they've been told, their clients are out there waiting for them, especially if they charge a high fee, and the moment you let people know you're there, they'll be knocking at your door. But it never happens. Now, you've got to understand the community doesn't yet need you. Why? Because we have things like social services, housing departments, there's mental health teams, there are counsellors, pastoral support, there's all of the different churches, temples, the different religions often will run community services too. There's all the voluntary counselling services, the drug addiction services, the alcohol advisory services, counselling services, therapy services, absolutely everywhere. And most importantly, there are dozens and dozens of therapists and counsellors and practitioners of every discipline already out there running a business. So where are you going to fit in? Why do we need you? That's an important question you need to ask yourself. Why does the community need you? And it's an annoying thing. I hated it when I had to examine this myself. Because, well, I'm brilliant. I've got my new certificate. I'm qualified. I'm a therapist. That's why. It's not enough. Simply because there's dozens of agencies and services out there all doing therapeutic services and support. So it takes a little bit of thinking about and a little bit of understanding about the community in which you are inserting yourself. Essentially, the community doesn't need another therapist, but the community might need you. In fact, it probably does, just not in the way that you've been expecting. Now, this is the common mistake. People immediately, they've got their new shiny certificate, they write to their local GPs and say, I'm a hypnotherapist, I can specialize and work with, and they list off the problems they can work with, and they hope the doctors will send them all these lovely referrals. Doctors get those letters every single week. Every orthodox practice gets those letters, not just from hypnotherapists and NLPers, but from Reiki healers, psychics and the mediums and the hands-on healers and the shamans and everybody. For some reason, there's a certain, is it conceit? I don't know what it is really. People with their new certificate think doctors are going to go, oh, amazing, never heard of that before, I'll send you all my patients. Doesn't work that way. However, it can work that way, but you've got to understand how the systems work. Now, when I was working in Southampton, they have to bear in mind, back then, I was naive. I didn't know what I was doing, and I didn't know what I'm not supposed to do. And so that actually gave me a little bit of the naivety of youth, a degree of confidence to go and do stuff, because I didn't know it's not how it's done. And this is the thing I recommend you do. So I went down to the local housing department, and I introduced myself, and I said, okay, so I'm going to be starting as a therapist. I'm actually a hypnotherapist. My particular interest is in actually schizophrenia of all things. But here's the situation I know I've got. I'm going to have people come to me that I can't deal with. And that's the reality. I'm going to have, if I do this right, I've got a limited skill set. So I need to know what other agencies are out there. So what I did was I went down to investigate things like the housing agency, to find out if I've got somebody in a housing situation that needs to be improved in order to improve their mental health, what do I do? Who do I need to speak to? Basically, I'm going to refer them to them. And I did this with pretty much every community agency around. So I wasn't selling my services to them. I went down to find out who they are. to find out when I need to make a referral, when I need to connect a patient of mine to multiple agencies because they need more than just my input, that I would be able to do that. And of course, I took donuts or cookies with me and a little bribe. And I would take my card or my leaflets down as well, or a poster for their staff room. I basically made sure that everyone knew who I was. But most importantly, I made sure I knew who everyone else was, because I'm going to integrate myself, my services with the community. I went and met with a couple of the pastoral counsellors associated with the local churches. I went and met the Friends Meeting House people, the Quakers, because they run quite a lot of agencies there. I met the Salvation Army people. I went and met with the probation service. I met with the desk sergeant of the local constabulary at the police station, because they deal with a high number of people. You may not be aware of this, but every time there's a high-profile crime reported, virtually every police station across the district is then besieged by people confessing to it. A lot of vulnerable people with psychotic illnesses, they will assume it must have been them. And so off they go. In one psychiatric unit I worked in as a housing worker, whenever we lost a particular patient, I would just check what the news story was that day. Yeah, we know where he is. He'll be down at the police station. And so we go down and get him. And that's quite a common thing. So by making sure everyone knows who I am, I know who everyone else is, I'm now part of that community system. I'm not somebody who's expecting all of those people to make me rich by sending me clients, because that's the wrong mindset, the wrong attitude. I needed to be able to offer a complete, comprehensive service to the people that I work with. And you need to be connected to the community. Now, weirdly, this is the kind of stuff that started to happen. So the local housing agency, the housing office, they would send me 4 people a week. And I would charge £25 a session for 1 to 2 hours. And these were largely people that they were dealing with on a revolving door basis, who had various issues and needs. And that was one of the things I did regularly. Now, £25 a session is not very much. But think about it this way. That's £100 worth of business for what really amounts to the better part of half to 3/4 of a working day, depending on how long you're seeing people for. Imagine if you're replicating that across the board. That actually is a good business to be in. That's a good income. But this is the bit, and this is the bit that's most important. When the housing agency sent those people to me, they knew I could be trusted because I had the fixed fee that they would be able to advise their patient or their service user. But more importantly, they knew I was integrated and connected to all the other agencies within the community as well. And because I was not a hub between them, because they all speak to each other as well, but I was a hub as well as them being a hub for each other too. And that was a really key thing in terms of how I'm perceived by these professional organizations and agencies. And that's quite important. Now, other stuff, I would go and investigate who other coaches or therapists in the area were. So I know there's plenty of really skilled people out there. They may not be high profile, they may not be famous, but they have very specific skill sets. Well, I would want to know who they were. For example, I connected with somebody who by reputation, I had heard was a superb hypnotherapist dealing with smoking. But it wasn't really her niche, so to speak. That wasn't her thing, but I kept hearing her name from people going, yeah, I went and saw this lady to stop smoking, and in one session, I never smoked since. So, okay. So I contact her and let her know, I don't want to see smokers. I don't. So are you happy for me just to send you anyone who contacts me for smoking? Which I started to do. All well and good, you see. Now, after this lady gets about 3 or 4 of those, mentioning my name, something else starts to happen. Because I'm building trust, building relationships, but I'm not expecting anyone to act as a referral network. I can't emphasize that enough. Too many people are going into coaching and therapy for themselves. What's in it for me? I can have the life I want. I can be free. I can live the dream. Here's my 6-figure income and my Kensington Palace. And here's my Tesla car and all that. That's not a good look. It's really not. And it's just somewhat narcissistic, if you ask me. So that's one area to really connect with the local community. Now, something else to do simultaneously. Prepare a talk. And have a talk that you can take to any of the social groups and dinner clubs and various other organizations that exist. There's dozens of them. You'll be familiar with things like the Chamber of Commerce. There's lots of business clubs. There's lots of dinner clubs, things like Probus. And if you've not heard of Probus, look it up. Absolutely superb organization. It's on the cusp of being like slightly Masonic, but it's for retired business people who still want to be connected to other business people because they love to talk about that subject. It's a dinner club. They have a speaker every meeting. You've got the Masonic groups as well, always looking for speakers. You've got Rotary, you've got the Lions Club, you've got the Foresters. There's loads, absolutely loads of them around, and they all need speakers. Here's the thing. Most of them pay somewhere between £50 and £150 per talk, and you get a free dinner. So you got the additional savings, plus a nice little earner. £80 was pretty much the average I would get. That's a nice little... Now do that four nights a week. So doing 4 talks a week, it's the same talk, 4 talks a week to all the different groups, and then you start spreading into other, outer out of district, a little bit of travel. Then you've got your 4 clients at £25 a week from the Housing Association. It starts to add up. And so this is how you both get experience, but also get connected to the community and let everyone know who you are. There's other little things too, but I'm going to put that into the next video because I'm going to show you if I were to start completely from scratch, then I know exactly what talk I would do and where I would do it. But you're going to have to subscribe and wait for the next video. Do please click the like button. As always, use the comment section for any additional points, any additional thoughts that you can add to this, or any contradictions or questions. And I'll see you in the next video.